Welcome back. Outside Minds podcast. Because you've already seen too much, bro.
They only added it so it could be like a ritual.
They're saying there's these, the end of times, right? There's all these signs.
Do you think we would know? Like, do you think the general public would know this game?
Take a picture for $5. You have a purpose in life, and if you don't fulfill it, you will come back until you fulfill it.
Welcome back to another episode of the Outside Minds podcast. I'm your host and creator, CeeLo Free. This is the other host and creator,
Dot420.
And we got a nice, short, sweet 5-minute episode for you today. I'm just kidding, but it might be kind of relatively short because I don't know much on the topic we'll be discussing today, but we're going to try to draw it out. But before we get into the actual topic, let's just talk about some news, huh? Have you heard about what they call the Booga Sphere, bro?
Yeah.
Did you see my video?
Yeah. And I seen someone else's video a couple of days ago on it. It's pretty interesting.
That is definitely alien technology, isn't it?
Isn't there like a frequency coming from it or something there's something like that, yeah.
Is there a frequency coming from it?
I don't know. I was watching some lady talk about it, but I forgot exactly what she was saying. But
there is some stuff about it. First of all, that it's supposedly the way it's configured from the outside is it's one piece. Meaning there's no welds, there's no joints. It's just like one piece all around, but they've x-rayed it, and inside of it, there's 18 other microspheres that revolve around something that's inside of it, and they're saying that what's inside that is in between those 18 spheres that are inside the big sphere is a quantum chip.
Wow.
And another thing is that it's changing weight. So it went from 5 kilograms to like 10 kilograms or something like that. Like imagine getting like this shiny bowling ball looking thing, and then you're getting it, and then you're x-raying it, and it has all these anomalies, and then it's like 5, and then it's like heavier.
Yeah.
And you're like, what the hell? And then the craziest thing about it too is it has all these crazy markings
like
about
hieroglyphs
it.
type things.
Yeah, they're like
right?
runes or something like that.
Yeah.
A lot of people are thinking they're like Mesopotamian like symbols or something like that, or like, and I mean, whenever people go on like psychedelic trips or they get into like consciousness or something like that, they start talking about like, ancient languages and runes and magic and stuff like that. So it kind of feeds into the fact that this UAP phenomenon is a spiritual one that's related to consciousness. What do you think about that?
Yeah, that could be it, because all these things are lining up between those two factors, spirituality and consciousness. And the more you dive deeper into the consciousness, spirituality gets involved, and vice versa. You know?
Yeah. Especially when shout out Chris Bledsoe. They have a picture of him in the Vatican. Did you know that?
No, really?
Yes, because he's done like all kinds of miracles and stuff. Like when people come around this man, they get healed. Did you know that?
Yeah.
That's so crazy.
He does sessions at his crib, right? Which is where they
does he?
Yeah, where they see that's where they see the orb.
Oh yeah.
So they invite him over there to go do it, and get.
So he can like call orbs himself. But have you heard of the UAP dog whistle?
No, what's that?
It's like this big machine. I don't know if it's like built onto a car or what it is, but it's this big machine that it either emits frequencies or it amplifies the CE5 frequency for people that do the CE5 meditation. Do you know what that is?
No, I've heard of it though.
Yeah, so because the CE5 meditation is close encounter meditation. So basically what these people are doing is they're meditating in order to try to call on entities that they can see like orbs or communicate with outside intelligence, alien intelligence and stuff like that. It's a really interesting rabbit hole. But yeah, they have this thing they call the UAP dog whistle, and it either sends out those same frequencies or it'll amplify those frequencies. I think I didn't read much about it, but it has like a 90% success rate of having, anomalies in the sky appear, whether it be like orbs or UAPs or whatever it is.
That's crazy.
Yeah. Google UAP dog whistle. It's going down, folks. The Boogosphere, UAP dog whistle, but a lot of people think space is fake. What do you think about that theory? The space is fake theory.
Space is fake and gay. I don't think space is what we think it is, but I also don't think the common people really know what it is.
Yeah.
I can't wrap my finger around it. How would I? You know what I mean?
It's very hard for the normal person to understand things like gravity and relativity. So I think it would be easy to dupe a generation that's not really into those things to just believe what they see. And believing what they see is seeing something outside of themselves that they can't touch or know is for real. So, you know, they can believe it to be a projection if they want. But that would mean everybody who works in like the space industry and like all the top scientists and physicists, that means they would either all have to be fooled
or on the same page, fooling
or on
people.
the same page, you know,
which is highly unlikely.
And if they were hiding a secret, you know, everyone would be like, oh, I got a cousin in NASA. I got a cousin that goes to Harvard, you know, astrophysicist or whatever. So
it could be like the medical industry, though, you know, how they teach them a certain way, so they don't really know they're messing people up. They're doing what they're taught. So
I think that's what the flat Earth thing is, because if you look at the traditional Earth, or to which I think how it is where you have, you know, the heliocentric model and you got the Earth going around it. If you just warp it like that,
flatten it out.
Suddenly the shape of the sun goes like this. So it easily can look like that because that's the way it's presented to us, but that doesn't necessarily mean that's the way it is.
You
know what I mean?
Also, like the old maps they talk about, it's like, well, they weren't in the skies back in the day, so you know what I mean? Like, of course they had flat maps because they were drawing it from the ground.
But there's a lot of conspiracies I think that are fun to believe in.
Oh yeah,
you know what I mean.
Definitely.
And it's easy to perpetrate them when you have certain ways of making people believe certain things or whatever. But I don't believe space is fake, but I do believe that, you know, there's a lot of stuff that they're not telling us. Like
Definitely.
I'm not even sure if I don't think we went to the moon. This is our topic for today. Do you think we went to the moon?
No, not necessarily. No, I don't.
Do they have machines on the moon or like rovers or whatever right now?
Yeah, well, they have
supposedly.
Well, they have a station, right?
I think I don't think they sent humans up there though, dude.
Nah, I don't
because
think so.
Supposedly it's 237,000 miles away, and supposedly they did in the 60s. Yeah. And if you look at the footage of how they got to get there, like, and the positioning they had to do it, and like how long, and it's so. Dude,
filming the rocket leaving
3 days, like 237,000 miles in 3 days.
That's crazy.
That ship would have to be so fast, and then the way that they slowed down the ship, I guess, was like instead of the thrusters going this way, they went that way, and then it had to be like this precise landing to where they went around the orbit of the moon, and then once they did that, then they landed on the moon from there, and then the module was just orbiting the moon while they were doing their thing. And
you're telling me Elon Musk don't got this now? That's crazy.
And he's trying to go to Mars.
Yeah, they're trying to colonize Mars, and he can't go to the moon right now. That's wild.
I don't think so. Let's see what else we got. What do you think about the Saturn Moon Matrix theory? Do you know about that?
No, what's that?
You don't know about the Saturn Moon Matrix theory? Okay, the Saturn Moon Matrix theory is supposedly that Saturn is projecting.
It's a satellite, right? Kind of like projecting.
It's kind of like a spiritual satellite or some kind of satellite that's projecting a false reality that's getting pinged off the moon, and the moon is projecting the illusion to us to our 3D reality. What do you think about that?
It's an interesting theory. I could see it, how it could play out if you think about it, you know, in a more spiritual manner.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. I think what people are doing with that theory is they're taking this consciousness, metaphorical, analogical approach to consciousness and what the moon represents as an illusion and what Saturn represents to as time and one of the constructs of our consciousness, and they're conflating them to be like physical things. Yeah, which kind of is physical because it's the physical world is emanated from the spiritual, so it's a very interesting theory. But you're right. I think that theory is more of a spiritual analogy more than like any kind of physical thing. You know what I mean?
Definitely.
But you remember in The Trap?
By
David Icke. David Icke talked about that, and he was saying that supposedly that someone had a dream or woke up from the dream or an abduction or something like that, and then they were like on an operating table with an alien or something like that. Do you remember that?
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah. Said they woke up mid-operation.
Yeah, that was super crazy. Another theory is that I heard this on Joe Rogan. He said that we possibly went to the moon, but the footage wasn't good enough, so we had to reshoot it.
That's another one. That's another one.
That's pretty likely to me.
Yeah, and that ties into, if you want to get into what's his name,
Stanley Kubrick,
because they were saying since he did 2001: A Space Odyssey so good that they wanted to have that technology of shooting, or that at least that artistry of shooting.
Yeah. Well, to go against that, when I was really looking into that, they were saying that how you were saying Arthur C. Clarke, the writer of 2001: Space Odyssey, as well as Stanley Kubrick, they had a really, really close relationship with NASA because they were working on 2001: Space Odyssey, and they wanted NASA.
They wanted their
scientists.
They wanted their input on certain
to
things
make it be like realistic.
Realistic.
Like
Yeah.
Have you seen 2001: Space Odyssey?
It's been like 20 years.
Oh my god! I watched it recently, bro. And
really?
They say it's one of the best sci-fi movies of all time.
Little dialogue, more gets you thinking more.
Have you seen it when you went to film school?
No,
bro. We gotta watch it. We gotta watch it because me and Daughter, he's always breaking it down cinematically. He's like, check out that shot. I'm like, hell yeah, bro.
Yeah,
so
there's meaning behind everything.
Yeah, just the way they shot it and like the perspective of like some of the shots and stuff like that. I can understand why they say it's like one of
the best sci-fi.
The best sci-fi. But the ending tripped me out. I just remember the ending being like kind of like a head scratcher or something like that. Like I don't know.
Yeah,
but,
I'm gonna have to watch that again for sure.
Yeah, but have you seen? I think the only Stanley Kubrick film I've seen is 2001.
Yeah.
Have you seen any other ones?
Yeah. The Shining.
Yeah, The Shining. The Shining is
Jack
the big
Nicholson.
Smoking gun, supposedly.
With the Apollo sweaters and the room 237. 237,000 miles from the moon.
Yeah. Because
it was originally like
in the book 2000, it was 217.
217. Yeah, and he changed it to 237. So, but also, the one about the cults and stuff.
What's that?
The one I've been trying to get you to watch forever. I'm having a brain fart right now. But
Clockwork Orange?
No. That's a good one too. But
Eyes Wide Shut?
Eyes Wide Shut.
Oh, okay, yeah.
That one.
Let's bring it back to The Shining though, because we got to. While I'm saying this, maybe you can edit it in like a little video of him, no sound or whatever. They have the freaking carpet in the shot, and it looks like the launching pad of the Apollo mission.
Oh yeah, the patterns of the carpet.
The patterns of the carpet, and then when he's right there on the kid's sweater, it's the Apollo rocket, and then basically he stands up, and that's signifying that
him launching. Yeah.
So what do you think is going on there? Because that is definitely in there for a reason, but not according to you, but I don't think you believe that Stanley Kubrick filmed the missions, did he?
No, I don't believe so necessarily. But another theory I heard in regards to that is that he obviously he's a smart dude, right?
Yeah.
But he was also kind of like a troll.
Oh.
So he would take that, and because he always wanted people to, it was symbology. Every movie was interpreted. Like it wasn't necessarily verbatim stuff.
Yeah.
So there's a theory that he kind of ran with that idea that he's working with NASA and he's gonna throw clues because they already look at his movies like that. So he was smart enough to kind of throw stuff in there.
So he already knows they're looking for Easter eggs.
Yes.
This could be him just pulling a prank on the general public, like, they're gonna think I filmed the moon landing.
Yeah. Just the only weird thing is how he died, like right when they're doing the final cut of his final movie.
What's that? What do you mean?
Yeah, well, like when they're doing the final editing, I guess. And
of Eyes Wide Shut?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
They were like, nope, we're gonna wrap it up on this guy. This guy's pretty much doing a documentary of Hollywood.
Yeah, the theory is that he exposed too much. Yeah.
Oh my god, bro.
It's crazy. I mean, they're one of the best directors, so they're great movies. They're just really long. Those are classics right there.
Would you hate to be Neil Armstrong or Buzz Aldrin?
For sure. I mean, look at him every time someone asks him a question,
I think one of them punched a guy one time, right?
It was Neil Armstrong, yeah. Or was it Buzz? I don't know. One of them did, for sure. But yeah, I don't know.
Something just clicked.
What was that?
Buzz Lightyear, bro.
Oh, yeah.
But don't you know that they have Shining references in Toy Story?
Yep.
Like, dude, we gotta find something. But I know that the pattern in the carpet in
is
Toy
the same.
Story is the same as The Shining.
Yeah.
We got to look up some other stuff because I know there's some connections there.
For sure.
And you know Disney.
Oh yeah.
Disney's just a puppet master.
Freemason
you know what I mean?
to the core.
Symbology and everything. When's the last time you seen Fantasia?
Oh wow, that's been way too long.
We should watch it again because
Watch it on acid.
we should watch it on something.
Some mushrooms.
Yeah,
That'll
because
be
there's
epic.
some symbology there because I think they were saying because he was part of Demolay, he was pretty much like proud of his Freemasonry. Like he
Well, they
he
built-
intentionally put symbols into his.
They built Disneyland on the 33rd like degree of, I don't know if it's of the world or
the 33rd parallel.
yeah, parallel. Yeah.
Yeah, but every time people talk about the 33rd parallel, I've seen the 33rd parallel all the way
All the way
around.
it
And it's like
stretches.
it's a big area of the United States. It's
Yeah.
like there's so much stuff there that it's like,
But
you know,
does both of his parks land on it? Because that could be strategic, you know. Because why doesn't he have one Midwest or you know?
yeah, but it's the
But
same-
he was a well-known.
that's like someone who has a
Freemason,
house in
But he
Florida and LA.
Yeah,
you
but
know?
he still would do
both
that.
your houses on the 33rd parallel, bro. Freemason.
He still would do that on purpose, though.
That's true,
Because he
that's
is
true.
a hardcore Freemason. So.
Yeah, but my point to that, to contest it though, is the 33rd degree parallel is just such a big area of land that it's like you would kind of have to
Sure.
try to put it somewhere else if you didn't want it there. You know what I'm saying? Instead of
Sure.
it being like, oh, I'm gonna put it right there because it's 33 and one right here. When it's like, oh, it's a big ass area, it would land it that way anyway,
yeah,
probably.
for sure.
But yeah, I don't know. There's a lot of anomalies in this. I would hate to be Neil Armstrong or Buzz Aldrin because I think they were saying that the surface of the moon is like 200 degrees Fahrenheit
Wow,
when it's lit or something like
that's
that.
crazy.
Also too, in all the footage, there's like no stars, and they asked astronauts like, "Oh, well, we don't remember seeing stars."
yeah.
What do you mean you
yeah.
don't remember seeing stars?
Where
what
are
do you
these
mean?
stars
The
at?
fuck you mean?
We see them all the time.
Yeah, and then I guess the shadows when they were taking pictures and stuff like that on the moon, right?
I don't know.
Yeah,
There was a lot of weird stuff that was a little off. The way they're bouncing, you know, they say it looks like they're underwater, and that is how they practice too.
They also shot footage of them leaving the moon.
Yeah, that's what I said earlier. I was like, how do you get a shot of them leaving the moon? That's crazy. And then like, sure, you could leave a camera there, but back then you had to retrieve that footage. You
Hey,
wouldn't-
imagine the people that like worked on it and then finally like they're showing it to the public at home, and then like the guy who was supposed to be in charge of like editing and
like,
being the mastermind
"Damn it."
behind it, his daughter's just watching it and she's just like, but who filmed the fucking rocket leaving the moon and shit? And he's probably
Shut
just
up.
like sweating. Shut the fuck up.
These people are stupid. Shut up. Don't believe it. Trust me.
Oh shit.
Bunch of idiots.
The crazy thing is they'd never be able to get away with anything like that today.
No.
You know what I mean? Which I think is funny is when people think space is fake because it's like, hey, come on. They'd all have to be in on it.
Yeah.
All my friends working at SpaceX.
It would have to be
would
a
have to be in
lot
on
of
it.
people. Did you see Sam's clip
No.
today? It was about someone in his audience who worked for SpaceX.
Oh yeah, I saw that.
Yeah. Someone else was like, "Leave her alone."
Was you gonna get sympathy, pussy? Hey, Biff. I sent it to my sister.
That shit is funny.
Oh shit. Well, guys, what do you guys think?
Yeah. Is
Do you
it
guys
fake?
think space is fake? Do you think we went to the moon? We need more topics, guys. Send us more topics. I picked this topic because I didn't know what to pick this week, but we got some fire guests coming up soon. We got some good news coming. We got some set upgrades coming up pretty soon.
Yeah.
Thank you guys for watching Outside Minds podcast. Let us know, do you guys think we went to the moon? Do you guys think space is fake? Do you guys think we can go to the moon if we had technology today?
We'll put a poll up on the YouTube or something. Have them fill it out.
Yeah. We gotta go to we're gonna go to the Ronald Reagan Museum soon
Oh yeah.
to go see the Dead Sea Scrolls.
Yeah.
Book of Enoch.
Book of
Up
Enoch.
live. So that might be one of our episodes. We might do a field trip episode or something like that, just kind of like document the experience.
Yeah.
But anyways, back to the program. We're gonna wrap it up. I'm Stilo Free. I'm the host and creator of this show. This is the other host and creator of this show.
Hot 420.
And we out.
Peace.
Peace.